The cycle of poverty. Women in poverty are much more likely to experience relationship violence. As household income decreases, the likelihood of domestic violence increases. Many survivors of domestic abuse with children are entrapped in the cycle of poverty due to many different factors. The Center for the Study of Social Policy states that women in poverty may feel that they must choose between leaving an abusive situation and feeding and sheltering their children. This video will aim to educate women about the factors that perpetuate the cycle of poverty and what you can do to break the cycle. Women who have experienced domestic violence may have more trouble finding and keeping employment. They also report more days arriving late to work, more absenteeism from work, more psychological and physical health problems that may reduce their productivity, and greater difficulty maintaining employment over time. Their partner may also control the level of education they received, which limits the jobs they are able to find. Their partner may limit their working hours and use financial abuse to limit the victim's access to her earnings. This impacts the cycle of poverty because it limits a woman's work experience when she tries to find employment after leaving her abuser. On the other hand, she may not ever be able to amass enough funds to ever leave her abuser. I have seen the effect of this aspect of the cycle of poverty in action while working at the Center for the Homeless in South Bend. While working with one of the guests, I learned about the effects her abusive relationship has had on her economic status and on her children. Her children have been uprooted from their community and torn away from their friends, which can have drastic effects on their well-being. She has noticed increasing behavior problems with her children, and she has struggled to make enough money at her low-wage job. This shows the cycle of poverty because her children will continue to feel the effects of their abuse for their entire lives. According to the Family Housing Fund, homeless children consistently exhibit more health problems than poor housed children, have poorer academic performance and cognitive development, and more emotional distress. Exposure to domestic violence has similar effects. These effects can be reversed with interventions to overcome the trauma, and homeless families are increasingly becoming the priority for these services. This cycle of poverty is especially evident in survivors of domestic abuse. Victims are limited in the ways they can use their own finances to escape the abuse. If they are able to leave, they are often economically disadvantaged. This also affects their children, who will experience their own effects of poverty and witnessing abuse, which disadvantages them from getting out of poverty in their lifetimes. The cycle of poverty entraps generations of families. To overcome this, we need to offer more resources, physical and emotional, to survivors of abuse. We need to offer women a safe space to go once they choose to leave their abuser. We need to have services to help women find good employment. We need low-cost or free counseling for primary and secondary victims of abuse. And finally, we all need to work together to change the way we think about those in poverty.